Hey babes, welcome back.
I know it's like we were on a summer hiatus, but
But
Yeah.
kind
it's
of,
got we're
life just happens and but here we are. We're just coming in when we can. What
Coming in
a
hot.
yeah.
So for our hot topic today, because we're back, we wanted to do something called When Do You Know It's Time to Move On? And that can literally be move on from anything. It could be um a person, a place, a thing, right? It could be anything. So who wants to start? Anybody busting at the seams to kick this off?
I feel like
I
Ashley,
mean,
I feel like
yeah,
you want to go.
sure, we'll come in, we'll
Center
go.
stage. Let's do this.
Yes, sure. So, I'm definitely at a transition in my life currently. It wasn't something I planned for or I saw coming. It was, you know, a certain relationship in my life that was around for a long time. And, I just, again, like, how did you know when you outgrew it? It just came to a point of like communicating how I felt over and over and over. And, you don't want someone to like have to change or like beg someone to change or anything like that. So it was almost just kind of like outgrowing it in a sense. But to me, the hardest part about that process, and I'm still going through it, is seeing who supports you through it. The people who I thought would just almost like blindly have my back and love me and support me and swoop in didn't. And like let me know they didn't support me
Hmm.
with where I stood. And it was mostly family, which I always find odd. You really think like blood is thicker than water, and when you need your family, they're just going to swoop in and have you. But sometimes like their opinions, because they know you so well, or the judgments because they've seen whatever you're going through for so long, they have a really specific point of view. And yeah, so that's kind of like what I'm going through. I'm seeing that, who's there for me going through the transition, who's not, who oversteps their boundaries when I didn't really ask for it. So it's definitely a learning curve. That some days I know well, some days I do not, but
I like that you said boundaries because I feel like I think going through any kind of transitional period, whether relationship or like business thing, because I've had similar situations where it's like all of a sudden you kind of like, okay, yep, I know this might have to make like I have to make the move. And it's like that scary leap. But then also knowing like it's okay to create a boundary from other people are, maybe giving you unsolicited feedback or whatever it is. Like I think it's so important to like know that it is okay to actually have boundaries for yourself. And that's such a not like groundbreaking, but it's very like grounding for yourself because it's like, no, like I can do this. Like this doesn't work for me or that does work for me. And like you're kind of setting the precedent, but for yourself. And I think that that's so important when you're going through any kind of change, whatever it is. Like you have to do what works best for you. And I think that not everyone always understands or appreciates that.
No, I was just going to say, and sometimes, your approach with whomever you're speaking with, also changes, and the tone and the tact of like,
Mm-hmm.
how do you bring it up? How do I say that this is my boundary, or this is what I need, or this is not what I'm looking for with this conversation? Sometimes I've found, um, even on a receiving end of, maybe it's not me going through this, but I'm listening to someone else. Sometimes I have to take a step back and ask somebody, are you looking for me to just listen, or are you looking for me to give feedback or
Oh my gosh,
constructive
that is
criticism?
such an important thing because I feel like if you give
And I
feedback
think
without, you
more
get
people need to,
mad. Like I get mad when I give my
yeah.
opinions
And I
on
think,
things and people are like, "Meh."
Yeah.
yeah. And I think we just need to realize sometimes certain conversations, family, friend, sibling, cousin, bestie, whatever, it can, sometimes people just want to vent and they don't really care what you have to say. They just need that listening ear and to just know that like the ear is there. And then there's other times too where they are looking for your feedback. And there's other times too where they someone just wants to hear like, you're doing well, pat on the back, and you just kind of like, yeah, but sometimes you just have to ask, like, what are they looking to get from that conversation with you? I
And I
find too.
think,
And it's always very helpful.
yeah, and I think, gosh, I have so many pieces of everything you guys have said, but piggybacking off of that right there, Ash, I think you almost have to like, and I've had these conversations with people because I've had to set up, and I think we all have a lot of boundaries, just unintentionally we've had to do it to like for ourselves, like Jess, you were saying, like what's best for you, but you have to say that, like, and I've had people say that to me, like, okay, do you want me to just listen or do you want advice? Or I've said, listen, I just need you to listen. I don't need you to say anything. I just need you to hear. I don't need an answer. I just need you to hear, and I just need you to hear me. And that's really sometimes too, depending who you're talking to, you want to be heard, right? Like whether it's to make an impact, or it could be just be a friend that you're like, oh, they have comfort for, like they comfort me. Um, Ash, what you said about growing and outgrowing, to me, that's a significant signal that you need to move on and it's time to move on. And whether, again, a person, place, or thing, but, I think about it with, relationships, could be friendships, and it doesn't always have to be, and we've kind of talked about this, like a bad move on. Like, it's just like, we've got what we've needed and at that time in our lives in that friendship, and we've outgrown it and we're in different points and we're moving on and we value what we had. Or like jobs, right? Like you've outgrown it. You're not learning anymore. It's not adding value to your life or people or situations. Or I mean, I'm literally going through throwing things out right now. I'm totally Marie Kondoing because I'm just like, it's cluttering my mind and it's not adding value and I've outgrown certain things. So I think that piece too of outgrowing is a huge sign of it's time to move on. And you just, if you're feeling stagnant or you're feeling no matter what you've tried, you're not moving forward in the direction you want to move for yourself and your life, that's a big sign of when it's time to move
Yeah,
on.
because when you think about it, like if you don't grow and you're stagnant, like you're never like learning anything. And I think that, we think about life and it's like, all right, like life's a mirror and like there's a reflection and there's always something that you can be learning from someone, something, someplace. And I think like holding back and not being true to like your own self and like being like, okay, yeah, like I have been trying to force something or I have been trying to like fit into some, box and it doesn't work for me. Like it's so scary. And I think that as a society, it's like, no, this is good. You should just be doing this and like going along with the flow. And sometimes like, well, maybe I don't want to go with the flow. Maybe like this doesn't work for me, or like societal norms maybe don't work for me. Like it's okay to, change your path. And I think that, speaking to your Marie Kondo point, like getting rid of things that clutter, like you can't have new things that come in when there's already being like things are already being taking up space. So when you free that space or you make that like big leap that feels like, oh my God, this is scary, you're just opening it up for more options and like the things that need to be coming into your life to come into your life, be it people, friendships, whatever. You need to be confident. Like I always have this mantra, like everything always work out. Like it might not be exactly what
So
I
scary
think.
though.
It's like that. Well, you think of that song like by the Rolling Stones, like you can't always get what you want, but sometimes you get what you need. So it's it's like what you think you might want or what you think. Like sometimes things just have a way of like working out when you do make that move and that leap and you're like, damn, why didn't I do this sooner? Or why and then like it puts you on a different trajectory. So it's kind of taking that leap of faith, if you will, to like honor yourself and be like, no, this is what I'm doing. And know that like something else will unfold.
And I feel like that stays true to Ash, what you're talking about, like what we've all kind of been talking about. And Jess, I think too, what you said about the Marie Kondoing and making space for something better or or more in line with what you need and want.
Yeah.
Yeah. And I think
Powerful.
even what you said too about like the societal normality of everything and like everyone's point of view, sometimes that can hinder our growth because I feel like as a society, longevity almost like proves your loyalty or trusting ability. You know, like
100%.
if you're in a relationship for 20 years, and then it doesn't work out, it's like almost not viewed as a success when it's like, how wasn't that? Or if you're with your
Right.
job for 10, 15 years and then you're just like, ah, like I'm not growing here anymore. I need to do something more. They're like, oh, why didn't that work out? Well, clearly it did. You know what I mean? It's like we
Yeah.
have this like this thing in our society where you're only loyal or trustworthy or whatever if it's like tied to like time
Right,
and
but if
and
you're
a,
not doing
and
that
a
for
certain amount
yourself,
of time. Yeah.
right? But think about it,
When
if you're not doing that for yourself, like who are you being loyal to? Because
Right.
you're not being
yeah.
loyal to yourself if you decide to throw your feelings and how, a situation affects you or whatever. Like if you're not listening to you, like who are you doing it for? Like
hmm
at the end of the day, like these people aren't living your life. These people aren't, having an impact. And I think that we lose sight of that. Like it's like you're not like people pleasing, but it's like almost like situational people pleasing
Hmm.
where you're like, okay, well, this is what I guess I'm supposed to be doing. So here you go.
and
Here I
that
am.
hinders. I mean, if you care so much about what other people think about you in a relationship, in a job, what you wear, who you hang out with, where you go to eat, whatever, I mean, that does hinder, again, like your growth and your outlook on everything like that when you're constantly in this like state of worry of disappointing others, and I know, again, some of that comes with time, but sometimes it just, you can't help but to fall into the mix of like being that worry war of what other people think,
It's
especially
hard.
with the people that you care about the most.
I know, but this is my statement, and I've said it to a lot of my girlfriends before. If they come and ask for advice. It's like what other people think of you is none of your business.
Yeah, you've
Like
said that to
hands,
me a million
hands
times
down,
over the
because
years.
like you can get sucked into like so many things, and it's like you know what, like it kind of like stay in your own lane, worry about what you need to worry about, and like if they want to think that or they want to do that and act like that. I just saw something. It was like this tattoo. It's like let them be or let it be or something. So like let them let people do whatever they want to do, and you need to do what works for you. And I think it's I think more so too, like women, I think we just get like God, like because like there's so many factors that we like take in, like, well, how does this affect this person and that and this, and like
Yeah.
it's like we're too big picture because I think that's like our inherent nature. But like I don't know, you have to be willing to just kind of
I
push
saw
it.
I saw a thing that said, I'm in my okay era. You don't like me? Okay. You don't like what I'm wearing? Okay. You don't want to invite me to the party? Okay. And it's just like goes
Seriously.
on, and I'm like,
No, and that's such a great,
okay.
yeah, space. It really is a great space to be in because you're not bothered either way.
Right.
You're just
And it's
okay with who you are.
and I think though too, like it takes a lot of work to get to that because I think also like, and again, I always keep saying I see it on TikTok. I read an article about it. But it's, a lot of like generational, right? Like, so a lot of things like we've inherently picked up throughout our lives. And it's like, it's stuff you have to almost undo
Unlearn.
and be like so self-aware. So I think part of it is also being self-aware because that is hard. Like,
I'm staring at like Ashley's background and I'm like all these books. So it's like books. And you think about reading a book and it's like you don't just have one chapter. Like you're like you open the book and it's not just like, hey, chapter 1 and it's 300 pages of one chapter. It's sections. Like think about it, like sections of your life. Like there's always going to be different pockets and different learnings and takeaways, and like who knows, maybe it's like, oh, my 20s were great, or maybe like my 40s are great. Like there's always going to be ebbs and flows, and that's like this is your book and you get to be the author and you get to be front main character vibes and energy. Like you write the book, like, and there's always going to be different chapters, so it's okay.
yeah.
Like
Yeah. And like, honestly,
Yes.
too, with like outgrowing and moving on and things like that, and being true to yourself and what you need and the people that depend on you need, meaning like, we all have kids and things like that. It's also like I think we talked about it before, and I'm so conscious of it even more now too, is time. And like, time is such a gift and you don't get it back. So like today will be over and that's it. You don't get it back. So it's like, also, if you're not moving on from something, and you're spending time in something that's not serving you anymore, you're not growing or learning in, you're not using the time that you have and that gift
Yeah.
to what's going to be the best.
RK DM bitches. Like so true. Like that it's like and I think like the older, like for me, like the older my kids get, you're like, you see them growing up and you're like, how are you getting bigger? And I'm still staying the same age, but
Yes.
like they grow and you're just like, damn, like where did 5 years go? Where did 10 years go? And again, if you take that kind of like mental philosophy, like this is what I have, like make the most of it. I mean, obviously don't go around making reckless decisions that hurt people, but like do what you need to do for you so that you feel like you've lived your life to the fullest of your ability. And I think that you don't really go wrong if you kind of take that approach, like be happy.
And outgrowing something doesn't, I think sometimes we look at it negatively, but I think outgrowing essentially just means that there is growth,
Yes.
and opportunity and change and light and newness. And, I think, it shouldn't just be looked at negatively, like outgrowing something. It should be just almost be like an exciting challenge
It's like a
of
caterpillar to a butterfly. Like, okay, like you're sitting here eating all the stuff and it's like you're fat and you're unhappy and you're like, all right, I'm just here.
totally.
Yeah, totally. And then you go into a cocoon
Slimy.
out and you're like, oh,
Yeah.
Beyonce, you're like, you got wings, you're ready to go. Like that kind of stuff. Like you're going through like a rebirth. And that's like, I think it's not bad. Like change
Yeah.
and growth are inevitable. Like snakes shed their
Right.
skin. Like things like the evolving of, us as humans, like you're always going to have to be like changing and learning and correcting like thoughts and have a different outcome because I mean, what kind of boring life would that be if you just stayed the same always? And wouldn't you agree that you're always learning? Well, if you're not always learning from your current experience or current situation where you're like, okay, I've learned X, Y, and Z, and now I can go forth and make more informed decisions about what I want, where I want to be, what I envision for my life, because you do have to go through those like ups and downs and the ebb and flows of things to kind of figure out like what works for you. And then to
Yeah.
learn from that and then, basically take all of your other decisions that you're going to make and it will change like everything because it's changed the way you view and think about things. And I always have these conversations even with my sons. I'm like, I want you to have an open mind and be able to, have conversations and learn different ways of doing things because that's what's important. Like how you learn and how you process things and be like, oh, well, you know what? I used to do it this way, or I used to, allow this to happen. And like, now I'm not because I've learned, I know better. I've like,
Yeah, there's a different way, right? Like you don't know everything. You're always learning from each other. I mean, I think we've all worked in situations where we've taken good, but we've taken also like not so good. And we know like, oh, I don't want to do something that way because it didn't sit well with me or it didn't work as someone on the other end of it or whatever, or a certain situation. Like, and so I think about those things too, is like how I want to do and not do. So it's, I think in the same line of learning different ways and understanding what works and doesn't work. Man, we got real.
we are so intelligent. I
We
mean,
got so
Guys,
hardcore there. And I do.
we had a lot to cover. I mean, listen.
what happens when you take a month or two off?
Hiatus. But I do think, and we can like wrap this up from here unless anybody else has anything to say. But I do think this is like the reality of like the shit people go through, and as families, as individuals, as careers, as moms, like as blunt beauty babes, like this is the shit that we go through. And I think we just hope that the things we touch on can, relate to Whoever's out there listening.
Yeah. This one's for you.
This one's for
Yeah,
you.
when shit sucks, be nice, people. Just be kind.
You never know what
Never go
anyone's
wrong
going
being
through.
nice. You can never go wrong being nice.
Pay it forward. Do something nice today. Pay it forward with your best summer must-haves. I mean,
wow, Jess, you're always there for the hook. I love that. Okay, so product of the week, the summer must-haves. This can be literally anything. I'll go first because I'm really excited about this one. So it is Nano Bronze by Indeed Labs.
okay.
And I actually put it on today. So, I know us three in particular, but always wear your sunscreen, but I always do a lot on my face. So my face tends to not get as much color as my body, which of course you can see, and my neck always misses. So I mixed a little bit of this. It's like a bronzing gel into my foundation today, just to give a little warmth, but like it's this lightweight kind of gel.
Ooh, and it's like illuminating.
Oh my God. Yeah. Like, look at that.
You know what that reminds me of? Remember the cover drops? Does anyone?
Yes.
Yes.
I mean, so I have those bronzing, not to get off topic.
That's
I mean,
okay.
like I feel like it has that same beautiful finish.
Yeah. So I love it. Like, look at how it bronzed. So I mixed it with my foundation to add a little bit of warmth and color back. But like the other day I did like no makeup, just a little concealer, and I popped it over my cheeks and the forehead to look like undone, but like sun-kissed. And then you could do it under your foundation too. So mix on top or under. But I love this. So it gives you that kind of sun-kissed look.
And we'll link all the products in our bio.
Yes, we will link the products. That's my pick. If you girls don't have it, you both need it.
Keeping the whole bronzing routine going. So I've kind of been obsessed with, it's a primer, but it's blurring. It's Tula's filter primer.
Oh,
so
I should have
not
known.
blurring, but so like the other one's a little lighter. When you rub it, like the color comes out. But wait, what I like to do is mix it with a little, like you can mix it with body lotion.
Ooh.
And you can put it all over your legs and your arms because it's optically blurring and it kind of smooths out any of the cellulite or fine lines or whatever else you got going on. So I like that just as a body diffuser in summer.
Ooh,
I love that.
Yeah.
I need that. I need that.
I love that. Well, speaking of body diffusing, I love this product. It's so stinking amazing and dirt cheap. Like dirt cheap. I mean, you can get this at your local like Walgreens, CVS, Dwayne Reed, whatever. So this is your Vaseline Cocoa Radiant Body Oil. Now, it smells like the most luxurious, like cocoa butter, coconut, sandal,
straight
like,
from Bali,
beachy scent. It's beautiful. Yes. Also, little goes a long way. So start light and build. But you can use this. I love it on the legs, like with shorts or on the décolleté when you have something like low cut. Also, pro tip, if you do like photo shoots for like e-com or runway, like right before they're getting ready to go down, this product, I mean,
it's so pretty.
Like or for like men's grooming to define like the abs and things like that. So look at this hand.
And what I love, you leave it in the shower. If you do it when you're wet, so I leave mine in the shower and then I put it all on and then dry off, and you get double duty, like extra glowy hydration.
Yeah.
So it like maintains your hydration all.
It's also a good excuse me, my voice is like cracking. It's also a really nice shave oil too. So if you like a shave oil product, I'm just like also to like spray it, like put this on before you spray your perfume, cologne, whatever. Like it just makes it sit and lay so much nicer. Oh, it's beautiful. But definitely décolleté, legs, anywhere where you want that like healthy shine. And especially if you're someone that works out and you have this beautiful like toned body, like dude, I mean, it's like
do you know that it comes in a stick? Okay.
I did. It's just also really nice.
Continuing to blow your mind.
I didn't know about any of this, so I'm going shopping. Yeah, we're summer ready. We're all going shopping now, but we'll link everything in the podcast. Thanks for tuning in. Make sure you like, subscribe, love, follow our. Oh, come say hi.
Yeah. And share our shit. Share our
Yeah.
shit.
Because we're just
Oh,
everyday
hey.
moms doing things.
All right. Say
Hey,
hi
Carm.
and say bye. All right. Bye, girls.
Adios.